Station of the Church of Christ or Iglesia ni Cristo.
Hello, everyone. Good morning, good afternoon, and good evening to everyone tuning in. I am Caitlin Bautista, and I will be your host for tonight. We're diving into how culture shapes who we are and how it unites people across the world. We'll talk about family, our faith, traditions, and how to keep them alive while also embracing and understanding diversity. So it's through our stories, we'll see how understanding and celebrating our differences brings us closer and helps us grow together here on Valley Grown. So please do share in the comments about your culture, any traditions that you might have on the Vine Chat, so that way we can all learn from you. And of course, I'm not by myself today. I have my dad, Romel Bautista. He finally said yes to being on here. So Dad, go ahead and give an introduction.
I'd like to say hi to everyone who's watching and listening and tuning to this broadcast. And thank you for having me.
Yes.
My name is Romel Bautista. I'm from Bakersfield, Central Valley, California.
Alrighty. Thank you so much, Dad, for being on our show tonight. But it's not just me and my dad. I also have my lovely, lovely co-hosts, Melvie, Jill, and Melanie. If you could all say hi.
Hello, everyone. Thank you so much for tuning in. Thank you again for tuning in with us. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. So excited for today's topic.
Hello, everyone, and thanks for tuning in, and stick around because we have a great topic for you tonight. All right, Caitlin, go ahead.
Alrighty, thank you, ladies, for giving an introduction. We all know our Valley Grown hosts, but not everyone may know you yet, Dad. So I would like you to just quickly and briefly explain a tradition that you have in your culture or in your family.
Oh, I believe that family is the center of the Filipino life.
Yes.
We like a lot of gatherings. And in our family, we gather together, cooking meals,
Yes.
sharing it to everyone. And we also share recipes, especially from our parents, grandparents, and even great-grandparents.
Yes.
So we like to make this so-called kakanin, or in English, sweet delicacies.
Mm-hmm.
And we pass that to our kids.
Mm-hmm.
I have to teach you those.
Yes, you do. You have to teach me how to cook properly. But yes.
And I remember this is also the source of their livelihood. When I was growing up, I know my grandmother would cook this, we call it coconut jam, and my mom will sell it.
I want some coconut jam. Okay, well, anyway, thank you so much for sharing a tradition that we have in our family and in our culture. Let's go ahead and get into our main discussion. We are talking all about traditions and customs and culture. So why is it so important to preserve traditions?
Oh, it's really important to preserve traditions so we could pass them along with the next generation.
Yes.
Tradition help us to remember that this is not just the past.
Mm-hmm.
And tradition honors the past. Yes. And remembering all those traditions, we could pass it to the next generation.
Yes.
Like me, my siblings, and my cousins always remember where we came from.
Yeah,
our
your roots.
Okay, and then when we practice this tradition, we could pass it to our children.
Mm-hmm.
And in the future, they will pass it to their future children.
Yes.
So that tradition would go from one generation to another.
Absolutely. You mentioned something about the next generation, the younger generation. So I would actually like to ask my co-hosts, how can we make sure, that traditions or cultural stories continue to be upheld by the younger generation? So how can we make sure that it's passed along? Melanie, Jill, Melvie?
Yeah, definitely. That's a great question. I can definitely take this one on. So I would say with any tradition, no matter who it is, where you come from, what background you have, the one thing that that is important when it comes to cultural ideas and traditions, it has to have some sort of meaning behind it, right? It needs to have a why as to why they're doing something, why they're believing into something. So if we make those cultural traditions meaningful to them, it's fun, there's a meaning behind it, that makes it a lot more keen for them to continue on. And not only that, but also maybe even adapting to their generation and things, that might be important to them and familiar to them, because, we come from different generations. And then also leading by example, of course, sharing our experiences, sharing our traditions and things like that. So yeah,
absolutely. Connecting the past to the present. Traditions, they're not meant to be something like quote unquote like ancient. Keeping it meaningful, like you said, it allows for younger generations to stay curious about where they come from and their roots as well. Melanie, do you have anything to add?
I would like to add, and this is why I think it's very important, because yes, it starts with the person that's passing on the tradition to the next generation, kind of like what your dad said. Just taking that time. I know we're all busy, but the fact that he's definitely taking that time to pass on like the recipes, Caitlin. And so now since you enjoy that food, right? You have to remember that those recipes needs to really be taken in, learned, and also being able to pass that on, because that's one of the things you'll remember about the elders, your parents, your grandparents. If there's something, it's almost like a memory that you want to be able to treasure. So I think if we pass it on that way to the next generation, then it would allow them to just really hold on to it. Even if it's just one recipe, it would definitely remind them that this is something very special, and it's something of a memory of the person that really loves you and cared for you.
Yes. Yeah, so like simple as like sharing like family stories at the dinner table, or like recipes. We all love food. It's not just like something that sits in the corner of our mind, where keeping those traditions, those stories, those recipes alive. Do you know what I mean? So Melvi, do you have anything to add? Like, how can we make sure traditions continue to be upheld by younger generations?
When your dad mentioned the importance of family and passing on what he knows, including the cooking. And by the way, Daddy Romel, if we can join Caitlin to learn how to make the kakanin, that would be wonderful. To wanting to learn how to do it. Yes. Anyway, when we're young, and me looking back as a child, any traditions and cultures and anything that we uphold within our family, it starts from childhood.
Absolutely.
And so our parents' knowledges and wisdom, or knowledge and wisdom, and everything else that they have and experience in their lives, they pass it on to us. And when we encounter those experiences, we ask questions. And when we ask questions, they would answer the why and then the purpose. So if we think about it, in every generation, it's automatically passed along. And even if we welcome other, let's say, different cultures, or we end up in a diverse group in our family, or we have diversity in the family, it now blends in together, because then you learn from other cultures as well. And what I love about having a family is you're bonded by communication and collaboration. So when you have those two things, it's like an automated, like almost an autopilot, to where what we learn from our parents, we also pass it on to others, even when we already have a family of our own.
Yes, absolutely. Just keeping those traditions alive, just like we mentioned, making sure that they're meaningful, that they're purposeful, that they're rooted in family. So those are the things that encompass, culture and tradition. So now I kind of want to move on into the values of culture. So in your community or your family, what kind of values bring people together?
One of the biggest values that bring our family and community together is respect.
Yes, RESPECT.
Addressing elders with how do you call it? Like you would call it like manang or mom, ate or kuya.
Meaning
And-
older sister. Or
Yeah,
older
older
brother.
sister,
Yes.
older brother, and responding by opo
Yes.
and po, or calling someone even not related to you
Mm-hmm.
with respect, using even though it's not your mom. Sometimes you call them tita.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Or your aunt, you call them tita still. Yeah.
And it's bring us togetherness and respect.
Yeah.
And then I have an example. There's a little
Yes.
boy in our congregation. There's only two.
Two.
Oh,
Yes.
I think 2.5.
Yeah. I see.
Yeah, 2.5.
Yeah.
But he already knows how to say opo, ate, and
Mhm.
kuya. It's amazing when you ask him something and he would say, yes, po.
Oh,
And then when he disagreed, he would say no.
No po.
But he would say no po. And it's so heartwarming that he would call me Lolo, even though I'm not the Lolo.
Mhm.
And it's come from the love and the guidance of parents and the people around him.
Yes.
It only shows that respect is being taught at the early age
Mhm.
and keep the families and community close.
Yeah, so respect is very important in culture, and seeing someone as young as like 2 years old already kind of honor that, like kudos to the parents and the community that surrounds him. Just teaching respect at such an early age, it's really amazing to see. Like sometimes he would call me ate, and I'm like, yes, I love it.
Yeah, I remember one time he was sitting with me, and
Yes.
you passed by. He turned his head on the left, and he said, "Ate," and it was so it's very nice to hear.
Absolutely, yes. Does anyone else have any stories that revolve around the values that are important in your culture? Anyone can answer.
that is so sweet. Yeah, absolutely. So, of course, respect, yes. But one that we all share as well is our faith. So, no matter what challenges we may come through in our lives, any differences, the one thing that we all uphold is our faith, no matter what.
Mhm.
And that's what keeps us grounded the most. But also too is support. One thing that my family is really good at, and with extended family, and I'm sure with Filipino or even just larger families, if there is a birthday or anything, that you will have families fly from all over, with no questions asked, or if there's anything that is going on, everybody will come together and fly. Or even when I was younger, my parents would always go to my ballet recitals, my cheerleading competitions, my volleyball games. And now that I'm older, I'm even 35, and my parents are still going to my volleyball games for Unity games.
Yes.
My family has always done is just supporting one another through all of the interests and activities.
Yes, of course, that faith and support are so important when it comes to culture and family. And I love how you mentioned that, when you were younger, they still supported you. And then even up till now, they still show that love, guidance, and support. And that's such a beautiful response. Thank you so much for sharing, Jill. Melanie, Melvi, no, y'all are sisters. So I would love to hear what values that were instilled within you from your family.
Yeah, so for us, definitely love as siblings, right? Because sometimes, even though we have a lot of differences, and even though we grow up together, we are still exposed by different environments or different likes, even like the years of gap that we have. But it's still always our parents always instilling in us, you have to love each other no matter what and support each other. And that's what we do. So that's the kind of thing that we really hone in, is definitely the love within the family, no matter what.
Absolutely. That love within the family. Melvi, what are your thoughts on that?
So your dad mentioned kindness. Jill mentioned I was going to say kindness to add on to it. Your dad mentioned respect. Jill mentioned, fill me in, Jill, I went blank.
Faith and support.
Faith and support. And then Melanie mentioned love. So growing up, my mom always, or my parents always tell us, always be kind no matter what.
Mm-hmm.
And of course, we have to learn our boundaries. But again, because of our faith, we're able to fully understand, and they make us fully understand the value of our relationship towards others and how we should treat others with
Mhm.
respect, kindness. And with that, we have to remember that every culture is going to be different, right? And we need to understand, and it's important that we acknowledge that, because it's giving us that ray of light of why people do what they do. And
Mhm.
when we grow up understanding everything and being able to be also have that culture awareness, it teaches us not only discipline but a lot of patience, because everybody's different. Even though we live in one world, in the same world, right here on earth,
Mhm.
we're all diverse in
Mhm.
different places all over the world. So
Yes.
but it's great to have that, because it's what gives us excitement in life. And at the same time, even though it can be challenging at times, believe it or not, it helps us grow together as well.
Yes, absolutely. So our culture, it all encompasses respect, faith and support, the love, communicating, collaborating with each other, empathy. It teaches you so many things. And that's why I absolutely love our discussion today, because it's rooted in culture and our roots. And I think another thing that culture also brings about is trust, right? So
Mhm.
I actually want to ask, how does learning about different backgrounds, how does it help make or create respect and trust?
Learning about different backgrounds help us create respect
Oh, yes.
and trust because it builds understanding
Mhm.
and it shows that we value each other's experiences and opinions.
Mhm.
When we are making the effort to learn about them, it shows that we care for them too, that we
Yeah.
respect them too.
Yes. So, like, that empathetic approach too. I really like that answer, Dad. Great job. So, um, it's about the halfway mark of our show. So if we could go ahead and see what's buzzing in the Vine chat. Guyatek, if we can go ahead and play our bumper, please. And while we wait, let's go ahead and share other culture stories that we may have, what we surrounded ourselves when we grew up, like what are the cultures and customs that that helped raise us in a way. And Melvi, if you would like to go ahead and read from our Vine chat.
Sure. First, we have Nestor Dineros. He said, "Good evening, my beloved brethren from Central Valley, California District, and to all brethren around the world. Stay safe always and be prayerful, from local congregation of Santa Maria." Hello there, Santa Maria. From Julia Whitman, one of our avid viewers now. Hi, Julia. She said, "Hi, everyone. Excited for tonight's show." And from Ida Gardenas, watching from Bakersfield. From Lewis, happy viewing from the local of Bakersfield. From Alex M, happy greetings from the local of Delano. Wow, all of our brethren in the house tonight. So happy to have all of you here. From Danny Aglipa, he said, "Good evening, everyone. Happy viewing, brethren, watching from a Rosie local district of CBC." We also have Louis Angeles, happy viewing from the local of Bakersfield. Zoraida Salonga, good evening, brethren. Hi, brother Romel and sister Caitlin, watching from the local of Bakersfield. Bakersfield's in the house. From William Dorsey, happy viewing from the local of Delano. From Helen Galapon, happy viewing from local of Delano. From Ida Cardenas again, wow, hello ka, Romel. From brother George Kenneth Calling, hello po. He said, "Happy viewing po from Ridgecrest." From Lauren Calling, watching from Ridgecrest, CVC, happy watching to all brethren. Of course, we won't miss brother Marioka from the Philippines. He said, "Good day here in the Philippines. I enjoy watching INCRadio from Brixtonville, district of Caloocan North." Let's see who else. From Becky Zook, this is Sister Rebecca from Santa Maria. From Melissa Benedicto, "I love your dad, Caitlin. Sounds like there's not a dull moment in your home." Let's see. From Tristan Diaz, "Hi, Ate Terry. Great to be here po." From brother Benji de los Reyes, "Hello to all the brethren in Central Valley, California." from Julia Whitman. She has a comment here actually regarding our topic. She said, "My Nana is starting to teach me my favorite baked recipes. I've finally perfected her chocolate chip cookie recipe, and I love that I will be able to pass that on to my daughters." Can you pass it on to us too?
Yeah, I'm hungry.
Julia, we have Melanie as our connection. We gotta
I've
try
already
those.
tried it. So good.
Okay, from one more from Katrina Badua, watching from the local of Fresno. Thank you so much, everyone. If we don't get to it, I promise you, we watch the replay, read all of your comments. We appreciate your time and thank you so much for being here. Now we'll go ahead and continue our exciting conversation. Back to you, Caitlin.
Alrighty, thank you so much, Melvi, for reading our comments. We'll go ahead and jump back into our discussion. We have been talking about our own culture, but I actually want to talk about different cultures now. So, excuse me, Dad, what have you learned from interacting with other people from different backgrounds?
Oh, I learned a lot from working with them. Example is I work with people from Japan, and I really admired how they value work, show respect, and work with diligence. Thanks to them that I learned to be more mindful of time
Yes.
and put efforts and care into my work. And I have some stories to tell about working with them.
Yes,
Can I
go
do it?
ahead. Well, yes, you can. Yes.
Okay, I used to work in a manufacturing company in Japan,
Yes.
in the Philippines. So it was run by people from Japan, and as a production engineer back then, not anymore.
You're retired.
Yeah, before the start of our shift, we always have our morning exercise.
Oh,
Yeah.
before you clock in?
I already clocked in, but
Oh.
our workers are so disciplined. They would come early.
Yes. Okay.
And then one would be, sometimes it's me, in the, how do you call that? Big phone, how do you call that?
The loudspeaker?
The loudspeaker to
Yes.
lead the exercise
Oh.
for 5 to 10 minutes.
Okay.
And then it helps us become more productive.
Yes.
And then people doesn't complain because they stretch before working for 8 hours, and we
Okay.
become more productive, and
Mhm.
the bosses are happy about it.
Yes.
And what also amazing is at the end of the shift, when the bell rings and it's time to go,
Zing zing.
yeah, they stay. They stay to
Oh.
clean up a little bit, organize their area, and put everything in order.
Mhm. That's so
That's
cool.
how discipline, is being imparted from working with with people from Japan.
That's awesome. Okay, now.
Yeah, and then I learned a lot from it. So even at work, remember, I would always leave early.
Yes.
And before I clock in, I walk around by around 5 to 10
He
minutes.
does his laps. Yes.
Around the building before
Mhm.
before I go in, and then my coworker, Mel, I saw you walking around the building. I said, yeah, that's my daily routine.
So they taught you a lot about, like respect and responsibility and valuing that time. That's
Yeah.
awesome. Yeah. And I think like for me, like I'm very grateful that I learned a lot from people of the Latino community, especially growing up in Delano and Bakersfield. And in the Central Valley as a whole, there's a very big Latino population, and they value the same things as Filipinos do, like hard work, dedication, and being oriented to your family. And I just want to give a huge shout out to them. So yeah, that's what I want to share. And thank you so much for sharing about your story working with people from Japan. Does anyone else have like a story that they would like to share interacting with someone of a different culture?
So I just want to add to your dad about the Japanese culture, because I'm trying to like organize and declutter maybe coming for the new year. And one of the things I found in like a YouTube video is how the Japanese organize their stuff by and decluttering. So I tried that because it's more like it's almost like minimalism.
Yes.
Like even though you have a furniture, leave a space of like in a like a cover, for example, to be empty. So I kind of started doing that. So when like in my entrance, I just have one plant on a like it used to be like a shoe rack, but I emptied it. And every time I come in, I just feel the sense of calmness because I already know with the kids and then like my husband, it's probably not gonna be like, if there's one spot that I would like to come in and all like nice and calm is like the entryway, and it feels good. And that's what they've kind of recommended. And when I try that, it actually works. But the
Yes.
other stories is my working in the healthcare. We encounter many patients with different culture and backgrounds, and it's definitely different for every culture and how they view health, wellness, and illness. And so in order for us to be culturally sensitive to that, we do have to ask them, like we have to really assess how they view it so we know how we can teach them how to take care of themselves when they go home without having to break any type of culture or cause them to think that this is not a good thing for them. So that's definitely something we're always trying to achieve with regards to our experience in healthcare.
Yeah, I really like that you added a new perspective from like the healthcare standpoint. There's definitely different cultures who believe in different things and like the way they want to be cared for. So I really like that you brought that up because some people don't want to be cared for like in the same way, if that makes any sense. So I really like that perspective and allowing you to see things in a new way, which kind of is a good segue to our next question that I actually wanted to ask. Have you ever experienced like a moment where understanding someone of a different culture like help you see things in a new way, like Melanie mentioned?
Oh, yes, I have a lot of funny story about it.
Okay.
It could be the food, about the avocado.
Oh, avocados. Okay, now.
But no, but when I first came here in the States from the Philippines in 1997, I had a hard time calling my older coworker by their first name because we used to use the titles like Manong or Mang or Ate or Kuya. Just like the Japanese, when I was working with them, they don't just call you by your name. They put san after your name. They'll call me Romel-san, and they will call you Caitlin-san, Melby-san, Melanie-san, Jill-san. And then we call them back the same thing. Fujigaya-san, Tamura-san. And it's, but when I started working here, there's a lady that is old enough to be my mom, old enough to be my grandma. And I can't even call her by her name. She said her name is Eunice, but I can call her Eunice. I said, Mom, Mrs. She said, oh, that's okay, Mel. You could call me by my first name because I feel I'm being disrespectful. And I said, it's okay to call me by my first name. And I remember in the Philippines when they said, oh, you're already in the first name basis. They say that if you're already on the first name basis, that means you already know them for so long and you're already very close to each other. And I barely know this lady.
Miss Eunice.
And I said, that's okay. It's normally in our workplace. And then I know it's just a part of the culture and the things, that's the way things going on in the workplace.
Yeah, in an American workplace. So was it kind of like a culture shock for you that everyone was just calling each other like by their first name?
Yeah, because we used to go like Ate, okay, Mang Jose.
Yeah, so it was a big change for you, huh? Yeah, that's crazy. Does anyone else want to share like how interacting with someone of a different culture help you see things in a new light, in a new way? Any stories that come to mind?
Yeah, the one thing that really just comes to mind just more so recently is just like from traveling all over into different countries, knowing about different customs, how they communicate, even just through road work and traffic. Obviously in the Philippines, they drive totally different than here in America. That's their culture. Or just, hand gestures in other countries. It's, disrespectful to look each other in the eye, whereas here in America, it's more respectful to look each other in the eye. So just understanding those things. And then also with different friends, right? Like how you mentioned how us Filipinos mentioned, we call each other po or ate, kuya. With other cultures, it's so interesting when it's not weird, but it's interesting when we hear others call our parents or other elders by their first name, where for us, we call, no matter who you are, you're auntie. Related. You're always going to be auntie. If you're older than me, ate, auntie. So that was always a different thing. And then, just friends, traveling, things like that.
Yes, of course. And thank you so much for sharing, Jill. And we are reaching the end point of our show. We could talk about like culture for hours if we could, but we are reaching the end. But I do want to ask my dad here and my co-host just one last question, and it is regarding our faith. So how does our faith guide us to value others, especially those of like different cultures and backgrounds?
Oh, my faith has always taught me the Christian culture.
Yes.
That leads me to communicate with respect and politeness. If you're doing that, especially in kindness, not only in words, but also in action.
Yes.
So I believe that our faith helps us value others and show more concern and care. And that's why we're sharing our faith.
Yes. All right. Thank you so much for sharing. And that's a great response. That Christian culture is what's so important. Melvi, how does our faith guide us to value others?
For my experience, it would be breaking down, or it helps break down the barriers, because we're taught each time we attend worship services, or even in our family setting, or even amongst us. And when we're out there in the world, we're taught to always have the love, the kindness, and the care and the patience, above all, compassion and understanding towards others, because it's easy to judge and get carried away with our emotions. But we're always taught to learn to reframe our mindset, again, to be very, very patient, because nowadays life continues to be challenging. But at the same time, as long as we have the values, we uphold what we uphold, and we care for others, it's so much easier to be able to accept whatever the external factors is that surround us in our daily lives.
All right. Thank you so much for sharing, Melvi. That's a great one. Leading with compassion and kindness. Jill, how does our faith guide us to value others?
Your dad mentioned everything. And you is empathy, patience, having an open heart, and that understanding. So all great answers. And that's pretty much it.
And I would like to add, for me, our faith teaches us that all of us are equal, no matter what culture we have. And that's under our faith of what we believe, how God sees all of us. We're all equal.
Absolutely. Yes, we're reminded that culture comes in many forms, but what centers us is Christian culture, how we show respect and understanding, no matter how different or diverse our experiences may be. Keeping our faith at the forefront helps us stay rooted. Thank you so much, Melanie, Melvi, Jill, and Mr. Romel Bautista for being a part of this episode for this evening. And thank you to our viewers and our listeners for supporting Valley Grown and growing alongside with us. And of course, we can't forget to thank our spiritual leaders, Brother Wally Taray, our INC radio station manager, our Deputy Executive Minister, Brother Angelo Irano V. Manalo, and Brother Eduardo V. Manalo, our Executive Minister. We will see you next time on Valley Ground, presented by INC Radio, Central Valley, California. Thank you so much. Salamat, gracias, mercy, arigato. Thank you, everybody.
Arigato gozaimashita.
Yes. All right.
Thank you.
Good night, everybody.
We'll see you again next time. Don't forget to
Thank
like, share.
Be safe always. See you next week.
Love y'all. Tune in next week, 9 p.m.